Welcome to the first trimester. Now this really can be a roller coaster. You've got highs and excitement, and then you definitely have some lows, and you might have some tough symptoms. So I created this survival guide with 10 of the most common symptoms, and I had all of them, and 10 tips on how to overcome those symptoms. My name is Emma. I'm now 19 weeks pregnant, and I have a little bit of a bump now, that you can see, which is exciting. I'm a prenatal yoga teacher, and I'm into all things well-being, mindfulness, and I wanted to create lots of videos about pregnancy and the motherhood period to come. So let's dive in. We're going to start with the very first symptom. So this can be the first symptom for many women, and it certainly was for me. I think it came in for me around 5 weeks. My breasts became so sore. They were bigger and just very, very sensitive. I normally sleep on my tummy, and I couldn't sleep on my chest and stomach anymore because it was just too painful. So how we can overcome this is mostly about bras. If you have underwire bras, ditch them for sports bras if you can, or go braless. I had moments where even my sports bras were feeling too tight, and I just said to myself, whatever, doesn't matter, I'm just gonna walk the dogs without a bra today. So just go easy on yourself, but don't go buying a ton of new comfy bras because your breasts are probably going to grow even further. So I'd wait a few more weeks until you're pretty much out of that first trimester before you go buying a whole new set of bras. So this is also one of the very first symptoms, and for me at least, it was like the tiredness you get before you get the flu, like your whole body is just heavy and exhausted. For me, naps were so important. I took naps every afternoon, and I was in bed by 9, absolute latest. So take all the rest you can, that's the tip. Get as many naps in as you can, maybe grab a power nap, and get to bed early. Just get loads of sleep and enjoy it. So I say nausea and not morning sickness for a reason, because for many women, nausea can be present throughout the whole day. So for me, I had it when I woke up, and I had it throughout the whole day until going to sleep, which isn't much fun. But there are some solutions. So the main one is to eat regularly. So I called this my Hobbit diet, so eating many meals throughout the day. And I'm going to actually talk in the next point about a healthy diet, so I'm going to talk more about foods, etc. Other things you can do to keep nausea at bay are getting acupressure bands, and actually I have some. Yeah, so here they are. I got a pack of quite a few, and they have a little hard circular disc in the middle. You put them on your wrists so that the circle bit is on your main vein here, and that's it. You just wear them like that. To be honest, I don't know how much of it is placebo effect and how much of it actually works, but when you're feeling nauseous all the time, you just want to try anything. And also, ginger is very effective. Ginger helps with nausea, but most of the products with ginger in them are full of sugar, which isn't healthy for you or your baby. So what you can do is create ginger shots where you just blend ginger, lemon, honey in the blender with some water, and then you just strain it, and voila, you have a healthy source of ginger. Okay, so during pregnancy, during the first trimester, you have moments where you crave different stuff, and it can be different from week to week. I wanted burgers and meat for like 1 week. I was obsessed with burgers and stuff, and then I hated meat for the rest of the first trimester, and also just wanting chocolate and sweets. How do we battle this? If it's in your house, you are going to eat it. So I just tried not to buy chocolate, sweets, unhealthy stuff. Easier said than done. And have an accountability partner, whether that's your partner or a friend, where you send them everything you eat. I did this for some days because I just had such little self-control. I mean, you're miserable and tired and feeling rough, and all you want is a chocolate bar or 2 or 3, and that was really effective for me. And stock up on healthy snacks that you can tolerate, and that will change from week to week. For me, what was really effective is fruits, and that seems to be common amongst pregnant women, is fruits are still palatable. So fruits, and you can blend them with yogurt into smoothies. Dried fruits, nuts and seeds. Just find whatever you can tolerate that's healthy, like rye crackers, cereals, but try to get whole grain cereals. So just try to make healthy choices when you're not feeling nauseous, and stock up on those in the house so that when you're feeling weak and low, you have something to go to that's not chocolate. Now, obviously, the solution is to move, but I'm not gonna go and tell you, go to the gym, this is the best time to exercise. I read this over and over again, and I'm quite an active person, but I could not bring myself to go to the gym. I just couldn't. But what I can recommend is going for a walk. I've got 2 lovely dogs, and they kind of saved me here because I had to walk. But what I found really surprising was, even when I felt really bad, if I went out and walked the dogs, I felt better. Try get 10,000 steps in, or set yourself some kind of goal. If you can go to the gym, amazing. I recommend Expecting and Empowered. It's an app, and you sign up, and they've got week by week classes. So by your week of pregnancy, they've got different classes, which are usually strength classes, to prepare your body for later stages of pregnancy and birth. It's been created by 2 sisters, one of whom is a physiotherapist. So everything is made for pregnant women, which I found I found this amazing, because I just didn't know what I could and couldn't do, and especially in those first stages, you just don't want to harm your little baby and you're overly worried. So before we move on to number 6, if you are enjoying the video, please give it a like, and I would love to know what week of pregnancy you're in and what symptoms you have, and any tips you might have to help other women. On to tip number 6. Pregnancy is a crazy time. So you've got your excitement, but then you might also have some unexpected lows. One thing I read which really resonated with me was everything feels overwhelming. I would have a breakdown and say to my husband, I just feel overwhelmed, like there's too much to do. And he'd say, oh, what do you have? What's on your list? Just share with me. I'd be like, I need to do some laundry, and I need to cook dinner. And it would be 2 things, and 2 really easy things. And he'd be like, okay, well, why don't I help you get started on dinner? And I don't know, but just everything feels like too much. Know that you're not alone in feeling that way. I found mood swings to be kind of a time to test myself and work on myself with my communication and emotional regulation. I mean, tough times might be ahead with sleep deprivation, with having a tiny baby, and all these pressures. And why not start practicing now good communication with the people around you and emotional regulation. You can also start meditating. You can do some yoga if you feel like moving. but more than everything, just know that what you're going through is normal. It's okay. So I thought this was because my womb is growing and there's a baby and it's putting pressure on my bladder, which is true, but at this stage, your womb is still pretty small. Baby is very small, so it's not so much the pressure on the bladder, but the amount of blood circulating in your body. So I think you've got 50% more blood going around, which needs to then be filtered by the kidneys, which results in more urine. There's not a tip to combat this, but what I want to say is stay hydrated. Sometimes it can feel like you want to drink less water because you don't want to have to pee all the time. But I've definitely had moments where I tried that and it didn't turn out well. Like I had a bit of a dizzy spell. Stay hydrated. You can find solutions and just tell people, look, I'm pregnant, I'm sorry, I need to pee again, if you're on a bus or in that kind of a situation. Bloating isn't fun. It's not fun to just look fat all the time. My tip is to just pretend it's a bump already. Like, just stroke it, just tell yourself I'm pregnant and this is my baby. Don't avoid bloating foods, because often the bloating foods are the healthier foods like beans and fibers, and you are going to be more gassy as well. I remember in the first trimester I was burping constantly, like disgusting. But it's just normal. So just every time you feel icky about yourself, just cradle your belly and say, I'm pregnant and this is my baby. So at this time, you're probably feeling a bit anxious about potentially losing your baby and miscarriage. It's valid, but there's not really much we can do. In the vast majority of cases, if you do miscarry, it's related to a genetic issue. I know that there's a lot of anxiety and like me, you'll be looking up, can I do this while pregnant? Can I do that? I think the main thing for me was exercise. And as I spoke about, I actually ended up barely exercising anyway. But what they say is you should be able to hold a conversation while exercising. Can you still talk to someone without having to stop to get your breath back? And just know that every week your chances of miscarriage are decreasing. So hang in there. And again, meditation can be really helpful to calm down those anxieties. So many symptoms can come up and every woman's body is different. You might say, I have felt none of those things, but I feel, I'm trying to think of something, dizzy when I cook fried eggs. I don't know. For me, my craziest, weirdest symptom was I started getting this convulsive swallowing thing, was constantly like swallowing saliva, which resulted in having bubbles and gas and burping all the time and then swallowing and then swallow. It was anyway, sounds super weird and it was horrible. Like it was really awful and like, yeah, it was like a mental thing and I couldn't sleep because I kept doing this. So yeah, random stuff can happen. We just have to take it in our stride and continue on. And you feel free to keep Googling because I'm sure there's another pregnant lady who's had the same symptom. And finally, I have a bonus tip because it's made a big difference for me. I got this book literally the first day I found out I was pregnant, very keen, and it's called Pregnancy Day by Day, and it's written and edited by doctors. And every single day you get like a full page with pictures of your baby, or this was actually before conception. But you've got pictures of your baby and then you have different information about either your baby's development that day or different symptoms you might be having. and just lots of little bits of information, and I found this invaluable. And it's just really nice to sit down and have that routine to bond with your baby first thing in the morning, and to share that with your partner as well. So that wraps up our survival guide, and I really hope that your first trimester goes smoothly and you don't have too many rough symptoms, but just know that there's so many women out there going through the same thing as you, and I'm sending my support and my love and giving you a hug right now if you're tucked up on the couch just feeling rough. I remember I read through so much Reddit just listening to other women complain because it made me feel less alone. And wishing you a great day, and I'll be posting another video next